What is up, everybody, and welcome back to Macho Movie Madness.
Oh, yeah.
I am Brandon, and alongside me always is Andrew.
What's going on, man?
I am just loving it, and I'm living it, and we have a special episode of Warehouse B today, and we are covering Trancers 2. We did Trancers a long time ago.
Yeah.
And what a just underrated fun movie. And now we're doing the second one. And I just watched it for the first time. For some reason, not until now, but I had an absolute blast. We both just watched it.
Yeah.
He's seen it before.
Yeah, a few times.
But yeah, we just watched it together as my first watch.
Yeah.
Just absolutely entertaining.
Yeah, this is a really fun movie and definitely worthy of Warehouse B for sure.
Oh, for sure.
I hold it right up there with the original.
Yeah. We were talking about maybe doing a versus.
Yeah.
I don't know how many people would be interested, but if you are, drop us a comment below. We definitely want to know from you guys. Obviously, this is something that is kind of our bread and butter next to the verses, the Warehouse B on the show. We like going back and watching cheesy old movies. Some of them are really, really good, and we're going to talk about some of those in another video real soon.
Yeah.
But this one here, stuff like this, I mean, there's some really bad ones too, and we've got a really bad one, but also really, really good one coming up for our special 20.
Covers the whole gamut.
Yeah.
Of what you'd expect in a B movie.
Yeah, we're doing that for our episode 20.
Yeah.
But that's a couple away. Yeah, I'm really excited. We'll get to talking about this just a second. Beforehand, I want to let everybody know that we appreciate you guys, your support. You know, we're gaining some subs here. If you like what you see, drop us a like. And if you know you're tuning in for the first time, be sure to sub because we got a lot of crazy stuff coming up. So without further ado, let's talk about Trancers 2 a little bit. Andrew, why don't you give us a rundown of, and for those who haven't seen Trancers 1, maybe give them just a little brief history of the story.
So in the first Trancers movie, they're able to send people from the future to the past with this serum. And so these people on this great council, they're able to go back into their ancestors' bodies through this serum, and they're all starting to get taken out one by one. And so they send their best trooper, Deth, which is one of the greatest B-movie names of all time.
Oh, for sure.
They send him back to, take care of this guy before, all these Trancers get their ancestors. And this movie basically plays on that. The same characters are in it. Helen Hunt's back in as Lena. Biff Maynard as Hap Ashby, who's great.
Awesome.
In this role.
So good.
All the characters you love, it's like, I've heard, it's like putting on an old sweater that's just comfortable, It
is.
With these characters. And so this movie, basically, they've been living there in LA for like 6 years, 7 years, depending on who you talk to.
Right.
And, this E.D. Wardo, who was, Whistler's brother, Whistler from the first movie, comes down. He's starting this Trancer army, basically. He came down his ancestor actually ran wasn't an asylum, but like a mental hospital. And so he's building basically this Trancer army. Jack's being appointed to the council. So they send back his wife, who he thought was dead, and they go to the future to the day before she died and send her back. So now Jack's caught in between two women.
Yes.
Caught in between Alice and Lena. And Ashby, who's worried to death that he's going to get killed by these Trancers who are popping back up. Yeah. Back on the sauce.
Yeah, he's back on the sauce again.
That's basically the plot of this.
I got 7 billion of them after me. They're going to get me.
There's an added wrinkle in this. They had the 10-second watch. And, they could go down the line in the serum. In the last one, you couldn't go forward. Well, now they got a TCL chamber. Right. That can take two people back. Right. So, that's the basic premise of Trancers 2. And, man, it's a lot of fun.
It's so much fun. I absolutely enjoyed this one. Let's go and talk about our pros and our cons of this movie. First up for me is dialogue. Right off the bat. Like, dialogue is so absolutely ridiculous in this movie. And acting is not good for the most part. There's some good acting. Yeah. But there's also really, even with the ones that are good actors, there's some really weird delivery. Yes. Especially from Jack. Yeah. Just because he's always got this grimace, like this, like perplexed look on his face every time.
Either in pain or...
Yeah. But, Helen Hunt is amazing in it. Like, she's a good actress. She's just a natural good actress. So she just seems so out of place.
Jack, you son of a
bitch. But no, I mean, really, she's got, there's this scene where, Alice is back with Jack and, they're in like this living quarters basically talking about the past and, and their marriage or whatever. And she's saying, telling him what she remembers and saying how much she loves him. And he doesn't tell her at this point. She doesn't know until the very end that she's set to die basically the day after she goes back, when she goes back. But she's just all about this marriage. And of course he's like, well, she's my wife. And they kiss. And of course they kiss at the perfect time for Helen Hunt to walk in and see this. You son of a bitch. And then so he storms off after her and they talk for a minute and she's all mad and he basically is like, now he just basically puts his foot down. He's like, listen,
Lena, don't fly off the handle.
Don't fly off the handle. I just kissed her. It's not that big of a deal. She's my wife and you're my wife. But she's got to go back in 2 days. So let's just try and move past this for 2 days. And, just really weird shit that you don't ever tell a woman.
Yeah.
And, it somehow worked. And, she just said, don't kiss her. Just don't be kissing her. And not even like 10 minutes later into the movie, she's kissing him. And of course, Helen Hunt walks back into the room as they're kissing. You son of a bitch.
Brandon goes later on when they're kissing again. If she walks in again, this is it.
Yeah, they were in a van and she started kissing him and she's like, we should make love. That way we remember, we have different bodies, but our minds would remember full make love. And I said right as they start to kiss, I'm like, man, if they start doing it in the van and Helen Hunt pulls up right next to him, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. You son of a bitch.
And then there's that dialogue where he rescues her from the asylum.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, Jack Deth, the only man I've ever had sex with.
Yeah. The only one man passes out. Well, it wasn't that bad.
Wasn't that bad. It's just some great dialogue.
Yeah, and of course the best line in the movie, and probably the best line in almost any B movie I've ever heard.
Or any movie we've ever heard.
Yeah, she's like, she pulls out this, they bring supplies in and she pulls out this ham. And she's like, it's like a stuffed ham, but it doesn't feel like, it feels like a stuffed turkey.
Yeah.
And he grabs it and he throws it out the window and it explodes. And then, they go through and I think he kissed the girl. That was when he kissed Alice. Yeah. And then she storms out, storms out. And then what's his name just fires off something.
McNulty,
yeah. God damn it, McNulty. Like he says that all the time in this movie.
Throughout the movie.
God damn it, McNulty. But he said that. He's like, God damn it, McNulty. Next time someone hands you exploding ham, I'm passing the mustard.
That's the best line.
That's the best line I've ever heard in a movie, probably. It's just the best. Anyway, I first off, definitely the dialogue. Yeah. There was some good action in this movie. I absolutely love the music. It's perfect because which I love early 90s movies music.
Yeah.
But this was a lot, they took a lot from
the first one.
Which was in the mid 80s.
Yeah, same musical
cues. So a lot of music, kind of 80s music in this, even though it was made in like 91 or 2 or whatever, 91. But I love that. It just, cons, we'll talk about that. What's your pros?
Yeah, basically that the dialogue is amazing. Even Rabbit, as bad as some of his scenes were, God. Some of his, I'm not a loony like you.
Yeah,
some of those were great.
I'm not a loony like you.
Yeah. I like that. I liked it. One of our cons on the first Trancers was there was only like 4 Trancers in the movie. It seems like they're a little more of a threat.
Oh yeah, there's an army of them basically. They're just out around every corner.
Yeah, and there's a great bit of dialogue. Basically, Wardo's got this plant, it's making Scurb 78, and it's turning them into these zombies. And who is it, Ashby, that says, "I've taken everything. What the hell is Scurb 78, man?"
Yeah. Oh, how about Ashby showing up and playing drunk baseball?
Yes. Yeah, that's a highlight of the movie.
I just don't like the thing is the things that are going on in this movie. It always throws you a curveball. There's something really quirky and really goofy. Like they really make a point to be quirky and goofy in between, and it somehow works. It just makes the movie that much more entertaining. It does feel more like a TV movie, sci-fi movie than it does an actual movie, but it's okay.
I feel like Charles Band, he's the head of Full Moon Features. He directed this, and a lot of like the Puppet Master movies,
right?
And all those. I feel like
the same feel
for all that he doesn't get right, which we'll get to here in a little bit. I feel like he captures that right, the humor and the quirkiness,
right?
And some of the odd looks that Jack Deth gives it shouldn't work, but they do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I shook my head, and Andrew could see me. Like, I was shaking my head and laughing throughout the entire movie about some of the delivery and the shots. And let's just get into the cons, I guess, because that's one of my biggest cons is the camera work. And I think for certain scenes, the camera work is great.
Yeah.
I think certain shots they had, like when they abducted Lena from the train station, or bus station or whatever it was, they captured her, and there was a shot from underneath, and I thought that was good. And it was a little bit. What was so weird though is the choices they made during the dialogue. They really shot the bad guys, all the antagonists, from an outer, wider angle, to give them a bigger presence, right. And everybody on the protagonist side was shot really close and real tight. And the movie, I mean, overall was shot tight.
Anytime there's a dialogue scene.
And so, and it would cut from one person to the next. So, you can have a group of people in the room talking, and instead of doing like a wide shot to get everybody's reaction and look, maybe a side view of Lena talking to Jack or somebody else, McNulty talking to Jack or whatever. Instead of just showing the group, they have to do a tight shot up to their face, and it's directly ahead. Like so it's almost like they're talking to the camera or just to the side of the camera, and it's too much. It's all the time.
Yeah,
so it's real cheesy in that sense, and it's just, I mean, this is rough.
Yeah,
to see, and that was my biggest con of the entire movie. Obviously that, and then
some of the shotgun
stuff. There was a guy who was like one-arm shotgunning at the end, and he was like flinging it like this, and then you could see the particle effects, like those sparkles that they use like for the explosions, like the gun blasts were popping off away from where the barrel was, and like just or way before the barrel's even up. It was the goofiest shit. Some of the action, as good as the action was, the stunts themselves were a little off.
I did like in this one, it looked like they had more money for like the transfer makeup.
Yeah, they look better for sure. Overall, I didn't hate it though. Like that didn't take me out of the movie. It was just some of the camera work. Yeah. But I had so much fun laughing at it or with it that it didn't bother me.
To me, it gets a little bit slow in between the first and second act whenever they're all at Green World and until she escapes.
Yeah.
I feel like that part of the movie's a little bit slow. But once you get past that, it's nonstop.
Yeah, trying to get Lena out of that place was, or not Lena, I'm sorry, Alice out of the place was a little slow.
But after that, you get into the whole love triangle thing and Hap going back on the sauce.
Yes.
Then them going down under the bridge to try to figure out what's going on with Wardo's guys. And hey, that guy got mustard. I want mustard too.
Yeah, that was some of the lines in that movie. What was it? He took out the Trancers, and those old ladies were looking at him, and what did he say? Damn it! What was it that he said? There's so much shit going in my brain right now because I just watched.
I can't remember the line, but it was really oh, don't worry, ladies, they're biodegradable.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. He checks his gun; they're biodegradable, and he racks his gun, or he changes the magazine.
Trancers are singeing out on the grass.
Yeah, they're biodegradable. And they had the 10-second watch where you can slow down time or stop time for 10 seconds, and it's always 30 seconds or more at least. Like he went full on slow motion for a minute at one point. So that doesn't bother me, but it's just goofy. But overall, I absolutely love this movie.
It was fun.
I recommend it if you love just cheesy B movies, man. I recommend both the first and the second one.
Yeah. We've yet to see the third one, but yeah, it's definitely on our list to do in the future. But yeah, this is on Tubi most of the time. I've never seen it off of Tubi.
Yeah, so, both of them are.
Yeah, be sure and check.
Actually, all of them are. Yeah, there's like 6 altogether, and we'll cover them eventually. As bad as they probably get. I think Helen Hunt's even in the third one. I don't know how long. But she is in the third one. It came out in 92, a year later.
Right.
For sure. Yeah, it was 91, this one, and then 92, Trancers 3. which was the same year Mad About You started. So she wasn't quite the star yet.
Yeah.
That she would become in the mid 90s. So she ended up doing the third one.
Yeah.
But
so what would you do for a rating out of 5 on this one?
Out of 5, I'd give it a 3.5.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking too.
3.5.
3.5.
I think 3.5's fun. And it's fair.
Yeah. For all that's wrong with it, it's still the funness makes up for it.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So, all right, guys. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. I don't think I have anything else to say or cover. Do you?
No.
Okay. Well, for Andrew, I'm Brandon. This has been Warehouse B. Go watch Trancers 2 right now. Like and subscribe.
We're out of here.
We're out of here.